The biggest thing I ever think he did was in 1989. He supported Bros in Wembley Stadium, but he was booed off stage. He was booed off stage because in the first few minutes he came out and goes, "Do y'all like Bros? Yeah. Do y'all like music? Yeah. Do y'all like Wembley? Yeah." And he goes, "Do y'all like Betamax?" And everyone was going, and I was sort of booing, "Bring on Bros." So he fucked off. I was disappointed to find out he's a Man United fan, but whatever. Into this. The more I watched the documentary, it kind of got sad. He was taking much, much smaller gigs. He never paid any bills and never really paid his rents. His family were kind of falling behind on all that. He became an alcoholic as well. Yeah. He died in 2010 after a small battle with cancer. It's fucking cancer is a bit dick to all these people, isn't it? I'll still watch clips of Frank Sidebottom.
I love that movie.
You see, that's another thing as well. That movie, Frank, I didn't realise that, but the Freshies had a keyboard player for a while called John Ronson. John Ronson is the writer.
Oh, really?
Who wrote Frank.
That's how I know it. Yeah, that's how,
So he took the look of Frank and a bit of the way he went on, and he mixed it with... The movie Frank is more influenced by
his experience.
Captain Beefheart. Yeah. No, the story about Captain Beefheart recording... not Trout Mask Replica. Yeah. So he mixed that with the look of Frank. But I didn't realise... I never knew John Ronson was in the Freshies for a while playing keyboard. That Frank movie is brilliant. And Fassbender is incredible in it. Absolutely. So that's less about Frank Sidebottom and more about Captain Beefheart, but just with the look of that. Jesus, there's not a huge amount left to say about Frank Sidebottom. Yeah, it kind of...
You either get it or you don't, I think.
Yeah, like, things got hard and he went on the dole. He planned a comeback that he planned out perfectly, but he died before he could really...
He went on the scratcher?
He went on the scratcher, yeah.
Fucking hell.
It was kind of tough looking at that part of it because he was the kind of person that... He also invented one of the first... Well, I want to call it enhanced CDs, but it wasn't, because basically what you could do is you could hook your record player up to your computer and he'd release one side with a single and the other side with a video that would play on an Amstrad or something like that through the signals that it was sending into the input. Really fucking weird. And it would create a little tiny weird video of the Freshies dancing in pixels and stuff like that. So there's a video of him with Tony Blackburn doing an interview with that, and Tony Blackburn was like, "I just don't understand what you're talking about, what this is." And he goes, "Well, I've just explained it." So that's it.
Didn't he used to go around with a little keyboard?
Yeah, he always brought a keyboard.
He had like a tiny keyboard, like a forearm size, and he just had like demo mode. And he just had it, whatever, a load of kind of beats and patterns programmed into it. He just, like, half the time he's singing the covers, they're in a different key completely because he's singing to the demos. Yeah, yeah.
And he did go with the band for a while as well, like that. They were called, John Ronson wasn't in the Freshies. He was in Frank Sidebottom's band, the Old Blimey band. They're the ones that did loads of gigs around Wigan and stuff like that. That got quite... I was looking at videos of them. They got quite fucking punky. And quite aggro. Where there was people jumping up and punching little Frank in the face and all out of his hand. And that's just goes... Punks like that. Punks are weird like that, man. They start punching the doll. And even you can see him kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
Hitting little Frank?
Yeah. That's it. Man, Frank Sidebottom to me has always been... just one of those unusual fucking characters. If you want to know more, watch that documentary, Being Frank, the Chris Seavey story. That's all. Who's your next one?
My next one is Hank Williams.
Oh, he's got... Yeah, I know.
And he had... It wasn't so much of a... Was it an alter ego? It was a weird, almost marketing ploy, is what it was. So, Hank was well known for doing these kind of shit kicker songs, kind of country songs that got everybody kind of dancing and fucking doing their barn dance shit. And but he really had this interest in what they call talking blues. And his talking blues, it would be more... I mean, it's still guitar and bass and drums, but instead of singing, he'd be talking about something, almost like gospel.
I kind of know.
Interesting.
I know, it's like that when it goes doon 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 doon.
Exactly.
Like, I was coming along.
Exactly.
I know that. I love that shit.
100%, right?
I love that.
So he wanted to do more of this stuff. So his producer was like mad dubious. He said, "Listen, Hank had been selling extraordinarily well with all the jukebox operators, and every time we bring out a new Hank Williams 7-inch for the jukebox operators, they just order thousands of them. So if we bring out you doing a Talking Blues single, they're just going to buy thousands of them. It's going to go into the jukebox, and then within 2 weeks, they're all going to ring me and complain because the kids can't dance to it."
Yeah.
So they figured out a way. Of doing it. So Williams settled on a pseudonym of Luke the Drifter. This is 1953. So they didn't really make much effort to hide the fact that it was Hank.
Because it's marketable.
Yeah.
It seems like you can't ask your record label to push something anonymous on you if they can't hook it with something.
Exactly. They kind of got the best of both worlds. So they got a new name attached to it, but they also got to kind of tell people that it was Hank Williams. So what Hank would do is, if he was given a radio interview or a written or printed interview, he would tell people that Luke the Drifter, which was the AKA, Luke the Drifter was his half-brother.
Right.
That he used to fuck with them by saying that. So, the Luke the Drifter stuff it's interesting. The album is called Luke the Drifter LP or whatever the fuck it is. And then he made a couple more appearances on a couple of albums, doing his Luke the Drifter kind of spiel. Now, where it gets interesting is that he morphed, once he had to come up with his name, he started kind of morphing the songs into an alter ego. Right. So the songs start getting, where Hank Williams was known for being a gargling, fucking drug-taking demon. The Luke the Drifter stuff was about loving your neighbour and living clean and going to church. And like, it was almost like Luke the Drifter.
That's definitely an alter ego.
Yeah. So like, Luke would essentially give the advice that Hank would never listen to, if you get me.
Yeah.
It's like, all the songs are kind of compassionate towards people and caring. Well, most of the Hank stuff, like, even if the songs weren't about him,
you would think it'd be the other way around. The Drifter would be like, whatever, man, I'm doing all them gargling, doing all.
I think the whole, maybe the concept behind Luke Drifter was that he was a good person. He was moving around trying to teach people.
Well, it's interesting when people use an alter ego to do a juxtaposition to the initial character, or even themselves that they create first. Unlike Kill Keith, who just made an even more dirtier fucking
turn
version.
it up. I'll be from space now.
Space now, because I can have different parts of the body I'm licking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Luke was kind of about self-control, about loving your neighbour, patience, all this kind of shit. All the things that Hank lacked.
Right.
Where it was what Luke would talk about.
But the kids couldn't dance to that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It done nothing. Like, there were a lot of songs, even though they're talking blues, there's elements of gospel. Some of them are a little bit more like upbeat in tone, not necessarily musically, but upbeat in tone. It's interesting. Listen to the song. It's a good little song. The song is called "Be Careful of Stones That You Throw." So that's
fair play to him. He's very into just messages, good messages.
Yeah. Good old Luke the Drifter. That's Luke the Drifter. Who's your next one?
My next one's Buster Poindexter.
Oh God,
I don't mind Buster Poindexter stuff. This is David Johansen, the New York Dolls alter ego or pseudonym for his tongue-in-cheek lounge jazz singer. Years before Richard Cheese was doing it, he was doing covers of songs. But
this was his first solo endeavour as well, wasn't it? Was it his first solo? It was after the Dolls kind of knocked him on the head.
I think there might have been one David Johansen album before that didn't do anything.
Yeah,
I think, and then afterwards he did good David Johansen stuff, and stuff that people received. But I think there might have been one David Johansen before Buster Poindexter. I'm not 100% sure on that, but like I said, they're mostly covers. He had a phenomenal voice for doing crooner stuff. And he obviously, I don't know how much he was into this before. The song is called "Oh Me Oh My, I'm a Fool for You, Baby," and it's really, really good.
Yeah. I'm sure he grew up listening to that stuff because, let's be honest, essentially all heavy music in the world probably comes from the New York Dolls.
Well, this is where I need a bit. I need you to help me out with New York Dolls, because I like New York Dolls, but I know that I don't know a huge amount about them. But this guy became quite popular on his own right. Buster Poindexter is obviously a fucking great name, even though it sounds like a character from a 90s teen show. And
I always remember him in Oz as well.
Oz, right? Yeah, because he did a voice for Teen Titans cartoon.
Did he?
Yeah. I can't remember the character he did, but
I was in Oz. I only rewatched Oz there last year, and he's a character. And he's a kidnapper.
Yeah,
he's a kidnapper.
He has a creepy looking face.
He looks exactly like Stephen King. He looks very like same big fucking ape mouth.
He has a bit of a fatter nose.
Yeah,
but he does have that wide mouth that looks like when he smiles, it goes right to the back of his ears.
Yep.
And right to the back of his neck.
His upper lip, from his lip to his nose, looks like someone hit him a dig.
Yeah.
It's blown out. Yeah. He's got kind of a flappy, kind of weird shaped face. He looks exactly like Stephen King.
He looks like he eats nothing but gluten.
Yeah. And what's mad about Stephen King? Stephen King, as he gets older, looks more like Stephen King than he did when he was younger.
He is. He's becoming more of like a drawing of Stephen King.
Yep.
Like a caricature that someone on the beach would do of
100%.
Stephen King. He's grown into all of his exaggerations. Yep. 100%. All of the exaggerations of his face are now becoming just even more prominent. So
has fucking David Johansen. He's starting to get there.
Yeah. I don't have a huge amount in it because I figured he did a 10-year run, so 87 to 97, then he knocked Buster Poindexter on the head. I think he had about 5 or 6 albums. I think 4 of them were like studio, and they're all mostly 90% covers as far as I know. But they're just his alter ego to go out and do a lot of gigs, dressed up in a suit with the hair slicked back, as opposed to dressing like
a woman.
A woman mixed, or sort of gender fluid, whatever the New York Dolls were, that's Buster Poindexter.
Everything comes from the Dolls. The Dolls and the Stooges, essentially. And the Stooges, it's an interesting situation you have with the New York Dolls, that they were only appreciated by, like, they were big, but they were only appreciated by people who had greatness in them. They're
100% one of the most influential bands.
Yeah.
They lit so many fires, like you said, in people who were great that needed that. Like Morrissey for a start.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed with the New York Dolls, yeah.
And
the reason there is a Smiths is because of
I don't know what the crossover at Mounds and New York Dolls was.
There definitely is. It's,
like, did they bounce off each other?
Yeah. One of the big things was Sylvain, the guitarist from the New York Dolls, had this particular style.
Yeah.
He had this real rock and roll leather jacket, fucking swagger to the guitar. And that was most certainly an influence.
Because when I was a kid, the Ramones, I thought, wrote Personality Crisis. I thought that was their song. Probably down to LimeWire mistagging the MP3 or whatever like that.
The beauty of the Dolls was they never got crap with time. All the records have bangers on them.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, the lads can write fucking songs. They might not be the greatest at putting the whole package together and selling themselves, but the boys can write fucking tunes.
They definitely remind me as well. They put them on the same playlist as the Ramones and even Cheap Trick. There's something about Cheap Trick that remind me of New York Dolls all the time.
The New York Dolls are the birth of kind of glam metal, the birth of punk rock,
and wearing whatever the fuck you want,
and just having that kind of stage persona, and to be inclusive of like the LGBTQ community that would have been very underground in New York at the time, and to be a band that is an access point for everybody.
And I think that show Vinyl, they were one of the first bands.
Yeah, they showed
in that show.
The first episode
that people were like, "Oh fuck, you have to go and see these gigs. They're insane."
They showed them in some sort of foundry or something like that.
Yeah.
The very first one.
So that's Buster Poindexter. Who is your next one?
Okay. I'm going to be honest. The next one is a guy called Kevin Barnes, and he's a singer of a band called Of Montreal.
Yeah.
Of Montreal is possibly the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
They're not great.
It's just garbage.
I knew the name, so I listened to one of the on Montreal songs, and I was like, "No, it's not for me."
Absolutely not. What is more interesting than this atrocious band is this alter ego that Kevin Barnes invented.
Right.
He invented it during the recording of an album called, the album is fucking stupid, it's called fucking Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer?
And what kind of music is this? Based on...
Of Montreal?
No, it's on...
Oh no, it is Of Montreal. He just came up with an alter ego for him, the singer, to have new things to sing about.
Right, okay.
Now, he's mostly in the second half of this album, right? The latter half of the album is where you hear his alter ego, a guy called Georgie Fruit.
Right,
which is a great fucking name.
It is a good name.
Georgie Fruit is a great fucking name. So what Georgie Fruit is...
It sounds like something an old lad would call a gay lad.
Wait till you hear this.
Oh yeah, your son's fucking walking around a bit light in the loafers with them new shoes. A bit of a Georgie Fruit, is he?
Is your man a Georgie Fruit?
Is he a Georgie Fruit?
After 18 points of stout, here's that Georgie Fruit.
Yeah. So why were you trying to kiss him around the back of the pub then?
So Georgie Fruit was a 40-year-old black transgender man who led a 70s funk band called Arousal. And during his time with the band, he underwent several sex change operations, from man to woman, back to man to woman, back to man to woman. This is in theory. This is just his character that
right, because I'm thinking, how far did he take it?
So what he would do...
Transgender and presumably now trans race, if you think about it, but only in theory. Yeah. Trans race, is that a thing?
Yes. So Barnes...
Try and sell that one.
Barnes would come on stage as Georgie Fruit.
Oh, right.
He'd be white, like.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to be doing the makeup.
But
please don't do the makeup.
He would come on stage, I think on a couple of occasions he came on stage fully naked, just with loads of makeup on his face.
Yeah.
On a couple of occasions, this is the best thing ever, he'd come galloping onto the stage on a white stallion.
An actual
white stallion. He came galloping onto the stage and performed those Georgie Fruit songs. He appeared on 2 albums, a second album called Skeletal Lamping, which is actually a great name.
That's actually Dr. Octagon's other album.
Exactly.
Skeleton Lamping.
That was so 2007, 2008 is when we seen Georgie Fruit emerge. Now, even a cool dude like Georgie Frew can't save this garbage music. This is honestly some of the worst stuff I've ever heard. Now, somebody might be into it, have fun. I can't listen to it. It's fucking terrible.